Good morning. Is this the old curiosity shop? Don't tell me I got the right number. Where have you been?
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, good morning, everyone. Willkommen Sie. It's the Old Curiosity Shop, and I'm back. Let's jump right in and say happy last week of July. Hope you're all doing well. I am, and if you're not doing well, cheer up because pumpkin spice coffee is like 6 weeks away. I'm just going to sip out of my old tin cup here. Actually, it's not tin, it's enamelware. And let's answer some questions. First of all, what about that trick I played on you? You see this picture right here? Okay, look at that yearbook cover. Now, when I saw that at the flea market, it fooled me. And yes, I was trying to trick you. Was it 1919, 1929, or 1955? Well, here's the answer. Aha! Most people, I think, fell into the 1929. That's a good guess. And when I saw it, I was shocked when I saw 1955. But many of you also were able to figure out that it was 1955. It just goes to show a lot of times, many of us, me included, we're often guilty of saying certain design motifs and elements live within a structured set of years we call decades, right? So Art Deco has to be 1925 to about 1945. Art Nouveau has to be, you get the idea. But there are a lot of decorative motifs and styles that come up, and I'm not necessarily talking about revivals either. That's a 1955 yearbook, so we're not talking about the Art Deco revival of the 1980s. And that isn't just sort of hinting at Deco, that is just classic geometric skyscraper Art Deco 1955. Maybe they got a really good deal and it was an old graphic and they saved some money. I doubt that. But anyway, 1955, still looking very much like the early 1930s. That was a lot of fun. Also, let's... Now in today's video, I have a small haul for you. We're going to talk about some lamps that I showed you a couple of days ago on the community page. But let's also do, which we haven't done in a while, what in the heck is that? Now I'm going to show you something and I'm going to ask you, what in the heck is that? But you're not going to have to wait until next week to find out what it is. I'm actually going to tell you at the end of the video, so make sure that you stay tuned. Oops. I'm going to tell you at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned all the way until the end, and we'll see if your guesses were correct. Okay, what the heck is it? I'm going to tell you a little bit. It is made of Bakelite. It's that wonderful mottled Bakelite there, almost sort of tortoise shell if you look really closely to it. Oh, and by the way, you certainly had your opinions on Weeping Gold. I asked you, and you told me. You either liked it or you didn't like it. And people seem to be in two camps on that. Okay. Hey, variety is the spice of life. If we all loved Weeping Gold, there wouldn't be enough of it out there for us. Now back to this. Look at how Art Deco that is. I'll let you see the top as well. And the side, the back rather. I will not show you the bottom because that's going to give away the secret. But I will show you that we can push on it here and it will open up and it reveals some more beautiful tortoise shell or sort of calico Bakelite and some compartments on the inside. What was supposed to be placed in here? Lipstick, poker chips, false eyelashes? I don't know, but I want you to think about it, and I'm going to tell you as soon as we get to the end of this video. So let's put this up here. I hope I don't forget to do that. I probably will. Let's have a sip. I'll have a sip. You have a sip. Okay. Oh, something else I forgot. This was the mystery cup and saucer a little while ago, and if you hear anything really strange, it's the men on the roof. We're not going to talk about that, but that's what's going on. This is the California pottery. Yes, Wildware. Made in California, and you may be able to see some of the label there with the is that a donkey? Is that a donkey or a horse? It's one of the two. Very distinctive California pottery, and it's the only piece I have in it. But that was fun, and many of you recognized it right away. I suppose there are some collectors out there. Oh, also, we are going to take that field trip. Now, right back there on the floor, I've got furniture moved all over the place because I'm painting and this and that and the third. Those are the prints down on the floor that you saw one, and I said we were going to take a Philadelphia field trip. We're going to do it. We're going to do it like in the next couple of days or so. I just haven't decided. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I'm going to, and you're going to love it. So make sure you are subscribed and you hit that, that notification thing, so when we go on the field trip, you won't miss it. Now, what's for sale in the old curiosity shop today? Well, first, I'm going to give you my reference for the lamps I'm about to show you, and my reference is pressed glass. This I got at a flea market, and then I dropped it, and I started to pull the binding apart, but it's okay. I'll glue it back. This is pressed glass, 1860 to 1930. And here's how I was able to identify, although a lot of you identified it first. Some of you have a really, really good eye. Better eye than I. Better eye than I. Better eye than I have. Anyway, I have two of these. Okay, here's one. The other one is down there on the floor. If you looked at the community page yesterday or the day before, you saw these. I think I posted them yesterday. So, typical filigree, pierced brass bottom, which we see on a lot of lamps of the 1930s and 40s. Beautiful heavy glass, crystal glass. The cord goes up through the inside. There's a brass piece on the top. We have a harp, which can be easily taken off. I think you guys know how to take off harps if you want a clip-on shade, but here we have a harp, so you can actually put a shade on it. Now, when I ship these, I'll take the harps off. They just clip right back on. That'll shrink the box down and keep the postage. Postage is going to be rough because they're heavy and they're big, but that'll help a little bit. Okay, some of you recognized this as the Innovation Pattern by McKee. Now, I was talking to my former college roommate. We were chatting a little bit the other day, and he and I are both pretty guilty of we think of McKee as the reamers and mixing bowls and salt and pepper shakers and range sets and just the cheap depression glass of the 1930s. Also, their laurel pattern, which they called Skokie green, which was really the first, jadeite dinner set or lunch set. Anyway, McKee's been around for a very long time. Goes back to the 1860s, something like that. The McKee brothers founded it somewhere in the Pittsburgh area, and it became sucked up in that big combine, the U.S. Glass Company, for 20 years or so, and then they went back on their own. Then they moved to Jeanette, Pennsylvania. Okay, so the glass industry is very complicated and very interesting. But that glass is called Innovation. Let me just go ahead and tell you what it says here. Now, there's more than one Innovation pattern. There's 406, 407, 409, 4012. But the similarity is it's pressed glass with wheel-cut flowers, and you're always going to find those flowers. Don't count petals, because sometimes there's 6 petals and sometimes there's 7. there's variations on that innovation pattern. Let's see what it says about innovation 407. This is another part of the Moquis innovation line. There were numbers, okay, 407, 8, 10, 11, 14, 15, 17, and others that featured pressed patterns with wheel-cut flowers. Okay, that's pretty much all I want to tell you. So innovation was introduced in 1917, 1916, 1917. Sometimes the references are they don't necessarily agree. 1916, 1917. Right at basically the beginning of our involvement in the First World War, which had already started in 1914. I think we entered it in 1917. Anyway, so here's a picture of innovation. So, what's going on with these lamps? Well, somebody in the 1930s, maybe even probably the 40s, had two innovation vases. These are 10 inches tall, 3 inches square, and you can see it's pressed glass. This is pressed, and the innovation was these wheel-cut flowers that you see here. Sometimes the centers have a star, sometimes they have more of a daisy, or more of a like a almost sunflower look. And as I said, there can be different numbers of petals. You'll often find the buttons, and they have the etching, they have the wheel cut decoration on them as well. So these started out life, oh my goodness, as two beautiful 1916-17 vases, or vases, or vases, as one of the subscribers, was it Dominic? I can't remember who, but somebody wrote and said, you know, there's 3 different ways to pronounce that word: vase, vase, and vase, with the Z in it. How do you say it? They're just really pretty. So they started out as vases. Somebody, yes, they're drilled. Now I had to take the felt off of the bottom. I guess I should replace it. Not a big deal. Because I dismantled them, cleaned them, got the dead gnats out of the inside. Somehow a gnat always gets inside everything and then expires. Got all the nicotine off, put them all back together again. They are 3-way sockets. They're nice old sockets, as you can see, with original old patina on that brass. So they're very handsome lamps. No chips, no cracks, no damage. This is beautiful glass, very heavy. You will have a very unique pair of lovely glass lamps that absolutely Moquis 1916, 17, 18, 19. They can't be turned back into vases unless you want holes in the bottom. Should we cry about it? Well, if it were Newcomb Pottery or something like that, we'd probably cry. But this was mass-produced, rather inexpensive glass. There's still a lot of innovation out there. It's pretty easy to find. So, and the person who converted these to lamps, they did a good job. I'm not that upset about it. I think they're very attractive and very decorative, so there you have it. These 2 lamps are currently for sale in the old Curiosity Shop. You supply your own shades. Fritz, no, this is Thomas. Was it Fritz? It was Fritz. F-R-I-T-Z. Guten Morgen, mein Herr. Fritz Thomas starts his company in Bavaria, the Thomas Porcelain Company. We can see back here, Bavaria. Yeah, and Thomas. Now that back stamp is going to date this to about, 1922 or so. Again, give or take. Oh, there's that fern. Let me get that out of the way. Somebody complained about the fern in my viewfinder, so.
Oh dear.
The Boston fern scram. So it's German porcelain, dates to about 1920 or so. You can tell by the back stamp. And it's made as a blank, and then somebody decorates it. You saw this before. It's a wonderful hand-painted, all hand-painted original, corn on the cob. This is the season. There's one little pinhead spot right there where it chipped. Just right there, that's it. That little spot, that's the only, there are no scratches, there's no damage on it, no chips, no cracks. It is 10.5 inches. That, on me, is 9 inches. My father taught me that. You measure the span between the tip of your thumb and pinky, you'll always have a ruler. That's 9 inches. So, that's going to be a 10.5 inch plate. Antique corn collectibles, well, we talked about that before. Anyway, there it is. I think Rosenthal, a name you know, took over this company pretty early on. And this is signed by the dude or the dudess who painted it, F. Keller. You see it right down there? That's who painted. You're not going to be able to see it. Anyway, it's right there. F. Keller. Is it showing up? F. Fanny. Let's say Fanny. Fanny Keller might have painted that. Or Floyd. Next we have a Totline Lamp. I showed you this before. It's a teddy bear. That looks like we're trying to choke the poor thing. Looks very 1950s, 60s, probably 1960s. It says Totline right here, USA. He has his brown felt on the bottom. His cord is in good shape. A little nickel colored socket, which works just fine. And he has no damage. I think these originally had a parchment shade, probably with a nursery rhyme theme on it as well. So he comes also to you with no lampshade. Really cute if you want to do it like a vintage nursery or vintage toys or just like sort of kitsch type things. Don't let me forget to tell you what this is, because I will forget. Have you figured it out yet? What would you keep in here? What secret thing? The family jewels. Maybe. Ooh, okay. Everybody refers to this as Hollywood Regency. Okay, so Hollywood Regency, bold colors, usually a lot of white backgrounds with bold colors in front of it, lots of mirrors, big patterns, comfort and elegance at the same time. We think of Dorothy Draper and Haynes. Bobby Haynes, that wasn't his name. What was his name? You're screaming it, I know. Haynes. He was an actor. And then became an interior decorator. Billy Haynes? No. Billy Burke? No. Makes me mad. They were doing a lot of decorating in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and they were big into this style, which is known as Hollywood Regency. And so this is probably 1960s. It is a tissue box container, or holder, as you know, as you already knew. And
There's nothing wrong with it, except not struggling to get this lid off for some strange reason. What is going on here? Okay.
so it has a nice crushed velvet interior there. There's the lid. Okay. The size, the measurements are in the auction listing, so you can look that up. And I won't fiddle with that. So very ritzy, glamorous. You can blow your nose like Myrna Loy, if you'd like. This is something I might regret selling because it is still hot. It's a wonderful electric fan made in St. Louis. It's all metal. There's no plastic in this. Probably early 1960s. It is a Jack Frost Monarch. It's not an oscillator. So, but I oiled it. It runs very smoothly, very quietly. Puts out a nice breeze, and it has that nice mid-century look. This is sort of a buff color, and then we're going to call this once again. Oh, thank you. not Debbie. Oh my goodness, I should have looked this up ahead of time, but you know who you are. You sent me the color chart, the Crayola crown. You live down in Dover. Dover, Delaware. What is your, I had just forgotten your name, but thank you for sending me that. So you guys decide the color of this. Again, depending on the color settings, it's either a sort of a kind of a pinkish, dusty rose color. See? Electric fan. Oh, wait a minute. I'm coming right back. Don't go anywhere. I've got to show you something. Hold on. Now, what the heck did I do with it? Where did I put? Oh, are you kidding me? It was right here in front of my face the whole time. That's what I get. You hear him up on the roof? Here's one thing I haven't listed yet, but I'm going to as soon as I can. What does that look like? Looks like McKee Innovation. The pressed flowers. Yeah, sort of the sawtooth. Sort of the sawtooth top and those wheel cut flowers. Wouldn't this be a nice complement to this? See there? Yeah. Okay. And you'll notice flowers are a little bit different, but that's how they were made. And McKee was making this with some color. The colored glass did not pop on the scene, the night the stock market crashed. And that's the Great Depression, depression glass. Many companies were making this colored glass as early as 1925. So, anyway, a cylindrical vase, which was never drilled to become a lamp or anything. And there might be a little tiny edge chip at the bottom. But this has uranium in it, and it will fluoresce beautifully. I'm going to get this listed. So, if you're interested, you might just be interested in this, but you might also be interested in this if you fall in love with those lamps. What a nice accent piece to put with it. And you can find other pieces of innovation glass to add to it. Now, let's answer the question. What is this wonderful Art Deco Bakelite container supposed to hold? Let's open it up again. And can you imagine putting cigarettes in there? And packs of matches, and maybe you have cigarette holders that would fit down in there. You think that's what it might have held? You can see on the bottom, it is the Roto Tray. Cigarette humidor, made in the USA. So that's it. Now, I don't smoke, so I don't know what I'm going to keep in here, but it's Art Deco, and I'm keeping it. I bought this, and I think I paid $5 for it at the flea market. It's just a nice example of early Art Deco, but what I like mostly about it is this wonderful embossed deco pattern that you see, and there's no damage on this. As you know, this stuff can chip and crack very easily. Let me look around, because I'm always forgetting something. Yes. I think that's it. So if you see anything you're interested in, the link to the old curiosity shop is in the description box below. I'll be back soon with some more, with the field trip having to do with that print down there on the floor, and maybe some other thrift hauls and whatnot. You know what to expect. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a nice night, day, evening. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop saying, thanks for watching, wait for the cat, and so long for now.